Whoa! We are back. We're back in Mind Bangers. Like, we haven't played this in ages. I've not made a video in ages. And I've done so much work on this world. I don't even know what I was even up to. I recorded pretty much a whole episode that pretty much. I don't even know where it is to be able to, like, edit it and stuff like that. So, basically, apparently, we're gonna get 10 FPS. I'm gonna show you what we're up to, and then just do whatever, and just start making mind bangers again. Now, I don't have my camera on me right now, so I can't have my beautiful face in it. But yeah, basically, at the moment, we've gotten a decent amount of food, pretty much. It's been mainly food and stuff, and as you can see, I've got 49 levels as well. But as you can see here, this is working pretty good. I put too many chickens in there, so they died from being overcrowded or something like that. And then down here, it's like we've pretty much been digging this whole bit out. This is gonna be a massive staircase, but we're gonna have it like this for now because I'm lazy. That's how much cooked chicken we've got. Got a decent amount of bread, decent amount of feathers. We're looking pretty good in the food department. Now, I actually reckon it's actually time to go get some resources. We can work on all of this later, because I can't be bothered. But yeah. So let's do this. Down there is going to be our storage area for now, and we're pretty much going to get as many resources as we can. So basically, first off, we're gonna go get some wood, because I feel like that's pretty important. Go get some. We'll go like this way, I reckon. Go get some wood. We've also made our sugarcane farm go like all the way that way. It goes for ages. It's so impractical, honestly, but we'll deal with it. But what I've been considering doing as well is because I found out that there is a mod which pretty much it creates the whole terrain of Google Maps. So it's literally the whole world, and it's always been something I wanted to do. I always wanted to make a map that was the world, and then get a group of gamers and play on it or something like that. Now that's a possibility. Maybe I can do a survival series by myself, because I'm too broke to be able to afford a server at the moment. But work that out. But yeah, new stuff that's happened. I finally got myself a car. So you know what? We're gonna talk about my journey on getting my car. So basically, so my dad has been sending me a lot of auction links to Graze Online, which is an auction website here in Australia. I don't know if it's anywhere else, but basically sending me links on there to cars that I could potentially bid on. And basically, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make an account, and I'd already clicked on one of his links for a car, and when I was making the account, somehow I must have clicked something, but it put a bid on the car. And when I did this, I was not in the situation to be able to bid on it, but because I made a bid on it, like you can't back out of it. And I was like, it's a 2002 Mercedes C180, and the bid was at $809, and there was 2 hours and 35 minutes left. So I was like, you know what? I'm probably all G. Someone else is gonna bid on this car. To my surprise, though, the first hour passes, the next passes, and I'm like, no one's bid on this. Long story short, no one bid on it, so I want it, and I guess it was just the thing that was meant to be. So basically, worked it out, borrowed some money, and obviously paid that back already. But basically, in the end, it cost altogether like $1,062 because of the buyer's premium. But yeah, so won that, bought it. But the car was in Sydney and New South Wales, and I live in Adelaide, South Australia, so it's a little bit of a ways. So caught a plane to Sydney, went around there a bit, and now the car was unregistered, had no plates, so I had to get a permit to be able to drive it all the way back from there to Adelaide. But basically, what happened is stayed up in Newcastle, so that was pretty cool. So I had to get a permit to get there. But basically, when I got the car, because it hadn't been starting a while. Basically, the battery was pretty much screwed on it. They had to jump start the car, and they thought that probably just needs to be driven around a little bit for the battery to charge itself up. So I was driving around for a bit, obviously to do that. But then eventually, I had to get fuel. So stopped the car, got fuel, came back out, went to start the car, and the key wouldn't turn. And yeah, so pretty much the battery was dead. At least it wouldn't be able to start by itself. So I was at a servo, pretty much made conversation with the person that was working at the server, pretty much became best mates while I was there. Used, the thing is as well, my phone died. My phone was dead in all of this, by the way. So, because I was pretty much hoping to go to the server, go get some fuel, go get a adapter thing to put into my cigarette lighter to be able to charge my phone. Now, pretty much couldn't really do that, so I had to use their phone. I was maybe there for like 2.5 hours or something like that, until the MRMA, which is the RAA but over there, took them quite a bit to get there. Eventually got there. Got the dude to jump start the car, because he pretty much checked, for any other problems, and I mean the alternator was doing its job, which was a positive thing, which pretty much diagnosed the battery. Now I'd only been driving for like half an hour at this point, so again, same theory, just drive it for a little bit longer to let it charge up. So basically, from that point there, got the car started up, and now I didn't bother buying the charger thing yet, because there was no point, because if my car wasn't going to work, then it wasn't going to be useful. But got the car running, and I had to run in and out of the servo to go get it, because obviously I had to get my car jump started, so I had to leave my keys in my car. So that was exciting. So I had to go get what I needed, and I got it, came out. Turns out I bought the complete wrong thing. It was a bloody Samsung charger or something like that. So to run straight back in, I'm like, I can't, I didn't have enough time to be able to bring it in, go get a refund, etc, because I had to leave my keys in my car. So went in as fast as I could, and basically the servo dude, because we we built a little bit of a relationship while I was in there, so he actually gave it to me for free, which was pretty good. So I saved like $30 there in the end, and now I've got a Samsung charger in my car for people that have Samsung phones, so that's obviously useful. Pretty nice of him though. Like, would have been another $30, and obviously with the battery problems, I assume potentially I'm gonna have to buy a new one. Anyway, so I had to drive from, I can't remember exactly where I was, but it was in the western suburbs of Sydney, and I had to drive from there all the way to Newcastle. And I think it was maybe like 7:30, 8 o'clock when I left, and which obviously meant a decent bit of the drive was going to be in the dark. Now, driving it was going perfectly fine until it started going dark, and I tried putting my lights on, and they weren't working. They were not working at all, and that was a bit scary. Pretty much, I had to turn everything off on my car. Pretty much turn off the radio, take out my charger for my phone. And pretty much, like, I had to, in intervals, have my lights off so they could, like, charge up, I guess. Put my lights on for a little bit, turn them off, to keep doing that. And I mean, luckily there were no cops to pull me over or anything like that, but it was a pretty painful drive. But in the end, did get there safe. And obviously the first thing I did once I got there was turn off my car and try to restart it. This time the key did turn, which was a positive thing, but I mean the car didn't start, which is not what I wanted. So obviously I knew that I had to get a new battery, which sucked. Got the MRMA out that night again, just to, you know, obviously try to get that sorted, because I wanted to ideally leave at 5 a.m. the next morning. But they told me that they were going to charge $450 for the battery. Now, it's a small car. It is a four-cylinder sedan, and the battery was massive. Like, it was a huge battery, which really surprised me. But in the end, basically, you know, I was like, you know, I'm obviously gonna have to stay the next night. Now, I did have somewhere I could stay in Victoria along the way, so that would have made the drive a little bit shorter, so I didn't necessarily have to leave at 5. So if I got the battery sorted before, you know, before like 10 o'clock, then I would have been all G. But basically, had to get the car towed down to a Repco, and they said that they would charge me $185, which is a much more reasonable price for the battery, and that's brand new as well. Got the diagnostics done before, just to see if maybe it was another problem or something like that. Pretty much every problem that I was having with the car. And one thing I have to point out as well, one thing I didn't notice on the buyer's page, on the auction page, is that one of the problems with the car was that it had a check engine light, and because I accidentally bid on it, I didn't read all of that before I bid on it, because I didn't mean to, and that was the main problem with the car. So that's probably why most people avoided it. But basically, it was diagnosed that pretty much the check engine light was probably from the battery, and all the other problems that I was having with the car was because of the battery, which was a very positive sign, because I mean, obviously $185 to fix that, then that's great. Honestly, it's beautiful. Now, basically, got that fixed, but I was too late to leave, so obviously, yeah, stayed another night. Woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning to drive all the way to Adelaide, and I'm like, I got to do this in one day now, because the place I had to stay in Victoria along the way, I couldn't stay there because I could only stay there the night before, which sucked, which meant I had to do the whole drive in one day, because I've already spent more money than I expected to, so I wouldn't be able to get anywhere to stay along the way. But I mean, me being me anyway, I wanted to do the drive in one day. But anyway, basically next day woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning and started heading to Adelaide, and very long drive. Before I get in it, just very long. Now, basically, I think it was maybe like 200 k's away from Canberra, so I still had 14 hours of driving to go, after driving for maybe like 2 to 3 hours. I got pulled over, and because obviously the car had no plates, I had a permit and everything, so I was all good. But basically, I thought that's why I was getting pulled over. Got everything ready, got the permit ready, and then the cop is just like, "That's not why I pulled you over." And I'm like, "Wait, what did you pull me over for then?" And he's like, "I clocked you going 128." I'm like, "Oh, shit." Long story short, was meant to be 3 demerit points and a $280 fine, which wouldn't have been nice, but let me off with a warning, which made my drive so much better, because otherwise I can only imagine knowing that I have another 14 hours to drive, and I've just barely not lost my license, because I've only got 4 demerit points on my P's. But basically, after that though, like, he was pretty chill. Like, he was actually, like, you know, complimenting the car, asked me how much I got it for, was really a surprise, which, I mean, everyone's been surprised about that so far, which even I am, because, I mean, it's a good car for the price that I got it for. Anyway, basically, started heading on my way, went through Wagga Wagga, where else did I go? Hay, Mildura, and then Loxton, and then home. But along that journey, once I got out of Hay, basically came across a group of emus, and you know, they were on the other side of the road. I thought I had, you know, enough room to be able to get past, but basically this one of these emus decides to run and jump at my car, and in like a split second, like, I thank video games for this, but I was just like, instantly, I'm like, I need to swerve this, and I need to accelerate. If I brake or don't accelerate, this emu is gonna hit me. I accelerated, and literally the emu looked as if it was standing at my boot when I looked in my rearview mirror. That was pretty intense. Solid swerve though. Like, was quite proud of it, and I mean, you know, obviously, you know, it's good that I was able to swerve it, because, I mean, I'd already been driving for 8 or 9 hours at that point, so I was already pretty tired. Not too tired, obviously, but, you know. Anyway, basically kept driving. Eventually got to Loxton, stopped there for a little bit to see my year 9 teacher, which was pretty chill. It was very cool being able to see him. You know, haven't seen him in ages. I mean, the better part of 5-6 years, really. So that was cool to be able to see him again. Got to meet one of his kids and his wife, so that was cool. But the stars in Loxton, so beautiful. But yeah, so left Loxton, and then I can't remember how far off home I was, but it was maybe like an hour or two, and then my fuel light came on, and that was intense, because, like, I was seeing no servos, none at all, and basically worked out where one was, and I knew I was going to be able to make it to it, and oh, my axe is broken. Basically, started making my way towards this servo, and when I got there, it was closed. And that was honestly the saddest moment. Anyway, from there, worked out that there was going to be a server at the bottom of the hill, and that I had to just pray that I'd make it there before my car ran out of fuel, which was intense, but luckily the majority of it was downhill, which obviously, you know, when you're going downhill, you're not using as much fuel, so that was obviously very, very handy in that situation. And eventually I was able to get there, go get fuel, and you know, had a lovely chat with the person running the server behind the counter. Pretty much, because the thing is, at this point, I'd only been pulled over once, and that one time it was for speeding, and you'd think having a car with no plates at all, that I would have gotten pulled over multiple times. Now, I was talking about this to the service station girl, and she was so surprised, and she's just like, wait till you get to Manapara. Anyway, eventually leave, get to Manapara, don't notice anything, start making my way the rest of the way home, and basically, as I was coming into my estate, I noticed the car following me, and I'm like, why the hell is this car following me? Anyway, kept on driving, you know, going home, and I'm just like, wait a second, this is a cop car, isn't it? So anyway, so I got this cop car following me, and you know, obviously my parents have an idea of roughly when I'm gonna get home. Start pulling into the driveway with this cop car behind me. Puts their lights on. My parents are standing there waiting for me. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. New South Wales, Victoria, a decent bit of South Australia, and I got pulled over once. One time. But yeah, at least that time it was for having no plates, and you know, we all had a laugh about it because my parents have similar cars. Like, if you didn't look closely, most people would think they're the same car. So it would have been funny for the coppers, and then obviously they like pretty much like they were talking to me for a little bit, and turns out that they had an undercover as well that rocked up at my house maybe like 2 or 3 minutes later. So that was interesting. And yeah, so that's my journey. Pretty much got in the car service now. I haven't gotten it registered just yet, but I'm just doing like a few repairs on it. Pretty much found out the brakes maybe have like 1,000 Ks left in them, so gonna have to spend a little bit of money on that and a few other things. But overall, including getting the car, it's gonna cost me overall under 3K, so that is lovely. And I mean, you know, it might not be a Mercedes, but I can say that I drive a Benz, and my parents didn't buy it for me, so that's cool. That is very cool. Now I am very, very lost, so I'm gonna find where I need to go, and I'll be back. But we finally made it back. That took way too long. I mean, we got a decent amount of wood, but not that much. Actually, what we're gonna do, because I'm lazy and I haven't made a video in ages, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this an episode. We're gonna go collect some eggs, and that's gonna be the end of the video, because we need to collect some nice sunset to top it all off. But I feel like it's more about consistency for me at the moment, getting back into the consistency and then work my way from there. But a nice story for you guys, and obviously, you know, I did go to Sydney, went to Circular Quay. I need to get out of here. I went to Circular Quay, you know, obviously took photos of the bridge and that sort of stuff. But yeah, we got this thing here, basically grab the eggs from there, put the eggs in here, and they get dispensed and they grow into chickens. But anyway, guys, thanks for coming. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, we'll be streaming soon, so watch out for that.